welcome. I hope you're having a great day. I just parked, made it here safely, and I found a deer. So first we're gonna go try to catch a deer. Then I'm gonna talk about what it's like to run a business at 17, the reality, what that's sort of like managing that with school, being an athlete, and everything in between that you might be wondering. But yeah, first priorities. We have to go catch this deer. It's still raining a little bit, but nevertheless, duty calls. The thing with deer is that some are incredibly shy, but other ones don't really mind your presence at all. So I guess we're gonna see if this is a shy deer or a curious deer. Hey buddy. Hey buddy. Oh. Also check this out, you can see like the steam rising from the rain, which is super cool. Okay, so I just put up a poll onto my Instagram asking you guys what sort of questions or topics you want me to cover. Without further ado, let's just dive right into those. Okay, so the first question is sticker making process and how you created your website. Okay, so for stickers, I use a combination of stickergiant.com as well as Sticker Mule, depending on the prices and the type of sticker, but usually I go between those two. They've worked great and it's been awesome. Also, I ended up losing a couple $100s by providing stickers for free, which isn't the best like financially wise, but I think the little things like that are really what make a brand special, and everyone loves getting stickers. I love getting stickers, so that's why I spend the extra little bit amount of money to get something that makes it just so much more special. Okay, how do you manage time with school, extracurriculars, and YouTube? This is a great question, and I'm not perfect with it, but at the same time, it's not as hard as you'd think. Obviously, it sounds intimidating, but in my experience, I think we waste a lot of time without realizing it. For instance, if you go on screen time on your phone, if you have an iPhone, you just see how much time you spend on social media. Over time, I've gotten efficient at cutting things out, especially in the school year. I can find little ways to effectively manage my time. I'll go home, I'll shower, I'll try to eat while watching a video for homework, or I'll write emails while I'm eating, and I end up finding a routine through trial and error. It also helps to kind of shift mindsets at times. So like on Saturdays, I wouldn't do any homework at all. I'd wake up, I'd edit, I'd work on Perspectopia, and I just wouldn't even let school cross my mind. So yeah, that's kind of what worked for me. But obviously, I kind of find ways to finesse, like certain classes I knew I wouldn't have to study as much for, or I knew I could do the homework in another class. I think over time, you know your schedule best and you can kind of find ways to manipulate things. So that's how I was able to manage my time with YouTube, with school, and with running. It's not an easy balance, but at the end of the day, you do what you can. It wasn't perfect at times. Sometimes I'd lose sleep. Sometimes I'd mess up in school. You live, you learn, but it's definitely possible and not as hard as you'd think, if I'm being completely honest. All right, so the next question is, how do you keep motivation and not get into a funk after a few weeks? Personally, motivation, obviously it comes and goes for certain things, but in general, I'm doing a lot of different things. Like I'll be running, I'm playing guitar, I'm learning things, dabbling in clothing, videos, and just like there's so many different things that I'm doing that I can kind of bounce from one to one into one. If I get tired of this, I'll move to that, and eventually, oh, maybe I want to come back to this. And so I sort of revolve around all these different things that I'm passionate about, but I never really stop doing something for a long period of time just because I am passionate about it and I wouldn't be doing it otherwise. But maybe like a week or two I won't film or do something like that, but then I'll be like, I kind of miss filming, and I'll go back to it. So it's sort of a flow of kind of going between things I'm passionate about. Question: who inspires you to keep creating? I think you guys inspire me a fair amount, or actually a lot, just because the larger my audience is, the more people I know I can affect in a positive way, I guess I'd say. And I know that the things I do can really touch people, and that in it of itself is incredibly motivating, just to know that your work can touch other people. And then also just seeing people like great figures who've done incredible things, that's really inspiring, especially like for my videos. Casey Neistat, Dan Mace really inspire me to continue just upping my content levels. And then I think just everything in my life I find inspiration from, just like nature, trees, the weather, everything I think is inspiring. And that's just sort of how I look at things in the world. But yeah, I take inspiration from a lot of things. It's not necessarily one certain thing. I don't know if that exactly makes sense, but I think generally just everything in my life, you realize that a lot of things are interconnected in ways you wouldn't really understand. It's kind of like what Steve Jobs said in one of his speeches: you can't connect the dots moving forward, you can only connect them looking backwards. I think life is a lot of systems and algorithms and connection, like cycles of things and flows and energies, and everything's connected in certain ways, in ways you wouldn't even really think of or realize. So that's how I gain motivation, is from a lot of different things. That was kind of philosophical and deep, but that's how I like it. Next question. Okay. All right, this question is, do you have financial support from your parents? Are people close to you, or did you get it from your YouTube channel? Okay, so I was fortunate enough to have a few videos go viral and they were monetized. So I'm able to take the money I get from my channel and reinvest it into Perspectopia. So yeah, all the money that I've made personally from YouTube has gone into Perspectopia, which has been really lucky, because obviously if you want to buy 100 hoodies from a manufacturer, it's gonna cost a couple $1,000s. And not everyone has that money. I know I didn't have that money before YouTube, so having that has really helped me out a ton. I'm able to be financially independent because of my YouTube channel, from sponsorships and stuff like that. The next question is how to get people to buy your product. For me, I am incredibly lucky to have a YouTube audience. People like you watching this video right now, you guys buy my products, you support me, and I think I've been able to tell sort of a story about my life and my perspective on things, and how that optimistic perspective has gotten me to certain places. I think telling that sort of story about my life, my beliefs, that I put that into my channel, and I've sort of marketed that through my brand, and I think you guys like that. You relate to that, and I'd like to think that that sort of goes into the marketing process and why you guys want to support me or the brand or my beliefs. But yeah, having social media influence is very, very helpful. If I didn't have it, I definitely wouldn't be able to sell the things I have today. So I think having some sort of influence on social media is probably the #1 way to sell things online. Okay, someone wants to know tips for people who are just starting, and maybe how to be true to you. If you are just starting out and you want to start a clothing business and you might not have a ton of funds already, which is probably like 99% of people out there, I personally just got really lucky because of my YouTube channel. I think the best way to start is through print on demand, which basically means you can find a company like Teespring, I think is the most notable one. But essentially you can upload a design onto a mock-up t-shirt, and then you can upload it to your own sort of shop that you create, and whenever someone goes to your shop and they buy something, Teespring will print it on demand and they will send it to that person, which basically means you don't have to do anything. You don't have to ship it out, you don't have to make it, anything. Teespring covers all that, but that kind of limits your profits that you'd be able to make if you're doing it all yourself. Otherwise, I think that's a really awesome way to start, because you don't have to put up any cash in the beginning. So yeah, that means anyone can sort of do that, which I personally think is awesome, because that means literally anyone can do that, because you don't need any money to start. All you need is someone to buy your design, essentially. But yeah, it's 100% risk-free. You can't really lose any money. I don't think that's possible to do. I don't think you can lose any money, so that's pretty sweet. Okay, on to the next question. A lot of these are pretty similar. Just about sort of my daily routine, how I manage things. I think writing things down is really helpful. It kind of keeps you focused throughout the day. Having clear goals keeps you motivated, and then just sort of just driving forward, keep going every day can really pay off. Okay, it's stopped raining now, so I'm gonna go outside. It's very nice out. This dude is jamming out. All right, how to keep your room tidy. It's all about that free will to just do it. Cleaning your room, I think, is really important. But obviously, it's good to let things get a little bit messy and then sort of let that spark creativity and then stay organized and kind of find a cycle in between that. I like to let my desk get super messy and let that sort of fuel my creativity until I sort of feel a little bit burnt out, I guess. And then I like to clean it, restart, refresh, and then keep on going, letting it get messy all again. That's me personally, but yeah, in general, I like to keep my room clean. I think it's motivating. I've mentioned this in some of my other videos, like how to get your life together, etc. I think having a clean room and environment around you is really healthy for the mind, the brain, and just your motivation in general. Okay, this next question I think is really helpful and valuable. What are some common mistakes that you did or made when you started your business? Mistakes. Some mistakes I made. I think the biggest mistake I made was my mentality, in a sense. I sort of underestimated how much time it would take. I didn't realize things would take twice as long as they actually do. I didn't realize that the USPS would lose my packages. I didn't know to order extra products because some things do get lost in the mail. And I think that was really frustrating, just because I thought if I shipped it out, it would get to someone that's sort of like, that's what theoretically should happen, but it didn't. And I found that really frustrating when it didn't, or when people's packages got lost or came late. I felt like that was reflecting my business, even though it wasn't in my control, if that makes sense. So I thought it would be easy. I thought it would be really fun all the time. And having that mindset can sort of lead to a lot of issues when you are out there, when you're actually managing the business and things aren't going to plan, or if you run into problems, it can be easy to sort of get tripped up and lose motivation and get frustrated. So I think having a really open mindset and understanding that you might have to stay up really late working on something, spend a lot of hours doing things you don't necessarily want to do, but yeah, having that mindset that it's not supposed to be easy and fun all the time. Entrepreneurship is not as glamorous as you think. And being aware of that, I think, is incredibly important and something I wish I knew in the beginning. Okay, the next question is, when did you have time to work on your business during the school year? Good question. I'd find time at lunch to call manufacturers. Similarly, I'd be able to work on my laptop at lunch or at the end of a class when I had extra time. Also, after school, I had a ton of time when I wasn't doing homework. Weekends were key for me. That's when I was able to really edit my videos, get into the flow, work on designs. But I think managing your weekends as efficiently and effectively as possible is so important. Obviously this is harder with sports because you have games on the weekends and that leaves you really tired. But once cross country ended, it was really awesome because I had a ton of time in the weekend. Usually we have invitationals or races on Saturday, which means I was incredibly tired on Sunday. My whole weekend was kind of blocked because of that. So yeah, I think managing with school is definitely possible if you're just smart with your time, if you don't go on social media too much, if you don't procrastinate. But yeah, I think the best way, there's no sort of easy, simple way to figure it out. I think you learn what best works with your schedule. Again, same thing with time management, all of that. There's no magical method. It's up to you to figure it out. But yeah, these are all the questions I think would be valuable for now. It's cleared up into a beautiful day. If you have any other questions, leave them in the comments section. I'll be happy to answer them as best as I can. But yeah, it's really nice out. Yeah, I hope that you're having a great day. And if you are interested in supporting me and the channel, there might be a few items left on the shop. Link in the description. Thank you for watching. If you're still here at the end, you are a real one because you really help my videos out by doing that. Boost the algorithm a ton, which allows other people to find my videos and content, which is awesome. So thank you if you're still here. Hope you have a great day. It means a lot to me. See you in Perspectopia. Day one complete.
Nice to ship it, get them fulfilled, because it's like, you know, people are gonna be happy.